Hi, and welcome to Monday Night Live. Welcome back to me, as I always say when I've been away on an adventure. Thank you for joining me. I'm Yvonne. I am the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures. I've been coming to you live on a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday night for about 8 years now. So if you're tuning in for the first time, hello and welcome, and thank you for stopping by. And if you are a regular and watching, then please jump on in and let me know where you're watching from. And anything you want to share. So I'm just going to put a little post here. Hi and welcome. It is Monday, the 13th of March today, and I was away in New Zealand last week. So some of you may have followed our adventures on Facebook. I missed coming to you. We were pretty busy all of the time. And I also missed sharing an update on International Women's Day. So hi, Carolyn. Hi, Diane. Hi, Alethea. So lots to chat about this week and some observations from New Zealand. If you are on our newsletter list, you would have received our newsletter this afternoon. And there were some of the things I'm going to talk about in there tonight, but also some other things I want to share. So recently I have returned from our hiking in New Zealand, so our North Island Explore Fitness Adventure, which was fantastic. We were blessed with beautiful weather because New Zealand has had some unfavourable weather of late, but we were absolutely blessed. Hi, Sandra. Hello, Karen. Hi, Jelena. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Susan. You really enjoyed this morning. That's great. That's lovely to hear. Hi, Christine. Hi, Ellen. And hi, Pauline. We are all over the country. And hi, Beth as well. And hi, Leanne. Yeah, we're literally everywhere. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I feel like I've been away forever, but I have a good clean run for the next good 6 weeks or so. So I will be here every Monday. So we recently came back from our adventure in New Zealand. The weather was fantastic for all but about 2 hours of our trip. And every time we went out hiking, we would have what we consider standard in our backpacks. And standard in our backpacks, for those of you who are members, and I think those of you who have identified yourselves, I know are members who are watching. Those of you who haven't, I don't know who you are, so I can't help you there. And in every hike that we had, we carried generally our raincoat and our waterproof pants, especially the extended ones that were more than about 2 hours, that we knew the weather, was sunny. There was not say no chance, but the forecast was for, nothing on the radar. Hi, Diana over there in New Zealand, and hi, Simone as well. And, most of the time we don't have to use that gear, but we are all about safety. We are all about being prepared so that each and every time that we go out on our hike, we can have a safe and enjoyable hike, minimize our risk of injury or illness or, hypothermia or anything like that, and come back and be able to do it again and again and again. So when we were heading out on our big 20K day across the Tongariro crossing, which is the volcano, it's still an active volcano region in the North Island, where the thermal area is, not too far from Rotorua. We had all our gear in our packs. It was a beautiful warm day. We all had shorts and hiking shirts, t-shirts on, lots of hats and sunscreen. And in our bags were, sufficient water for the 20-kilometre crossing, our personal first aid and our raincoat and our overpants as well. And, generally, you don't particularly need those unless you're hiking in a winter environment. But you just never know when you get to certain conditions and you're out all day and things might happen. We happened to be with a group of we weren't with them, but they were on the trail at the same time, a group of about 40 school kids who were obviously there for a day out with some teachers. It didn't appear to be super organised or super professional. And most of the kids would have been, somewhere between 14 to 17. And they had leggings. The girls had leggings and crop tops, and the boys had shorts and a T-shirt if they were lucky, boardies. Or some just had boardies on. They literally had maybe a bottle of water, very few hats, very little sunscreen, and literally no backpacks. So our first, couple of hours are stairs. There's about 500 stairs on the Tongariro crossing, very hot, very warm. Half the kids were having a meltdown by then. And then when we got to lunch, it started to come over a little bit cloudy, and we were on standby at lunch to basically pack up quickly if we needed to because the rain was coming. We were very fortunate on our day that there wasn't any wind, like literally no wind, which is very rare. But then the heavens opened and the rain came down, literally torrential rain for about 2 hours. And because we are so prepared, and that was one of the most delightful things about this adventure, is that everyone, and we do on all of our adventures, follow the packing list. We had the right gear. It was just easy to slip on the overpants, slip on the raincoat, the pack covers as well, and nothing changed for us other than hiking in wet weather. But those kids must have literally run the last 3.5 kilometers back because we didn't see them again, but they would have been pretty wet. My boots were soaked through. My pack, it was a little bit damp even with the pack cover on, but my raincoat and overpants kept me from getting wet and from getting cold as well, because one of the things that can happen is that you can get cold from that, and that's when it becomes very, very uncomfortable. And if someone happened to fall over and hurt themselves, not that anyone for any extended period did on our trip, we also had in our bags sufficient food and snacks, and also our head torches. And, I have over the years been called out for, why do I have to carry that kind of stuff in my pack? It seems unnecessary. I never used it. One of the go-to items that should always be in your pack is a head torch, because you just never know when something might happen and you might be out in the dark. All is needed is someone sprain an ankle, not even in your hiking party, that you're maybe there helping somebody else, or, something, you take a wrong turn by accident, or just something that the head torch comes in handy as well. So we pretty much used everything in our pack except the head torch, and we safely made it to the other side of the crossing. There was someone not in our party who was didn't show up at the other end. Someone was waiting for them. So we always take that safety first approach. So Sandra says, our packing list takes the worry out. Yeah, we make it easy to be prepared. So reassuring. Well, the thing is that it's really important to be safe. We all have invested a lot of time and money into our life. And time and money and effort into our hiking adventures as well. And we want to make sure that not only do we have the best time on an adventure, but we actually can, safely walk, we're blister free, we're all of those things when we get home from an adventure as well. So it's all about the preparation pre, on and post, and having the right equipment, maybe carrying a little bit more, and we had this discussion with our members the other day online. It's making sure that you are comfortable and building up to being comfortable in your training to carry all those things that you need that will keep you safe, should a worst case scenario happen within limits, So it was just a wonderful adventure, and we will be sharing some more stories as we go. But I was home last week, very tired last Wednesday, and International Women's Day was on last week. Sandy just says, before I jump on, that is so true. How many times do you hear about hikers being rescued because they are not prepared for all events? All the time. Absolutely all the time, Sandy. And, hiking fitness is not just about, physically being able to walk up that hill. There's a whole lot more, and that is all about preparation as well. Angelina says, recently back from a family wedding in New Zealand, 2 hikes in the South Island. My gear was borrowed from my family. Head torch for an early morning hike. Absolutely. Puffer jacket. Yep. Hiking poles and Gore-Tex gloves. Stayed with the family after I came home, along with some shoes. Yeah, absolutely. And just having all that stuff is such great preparation. It gives you that safety net inside your head as well. But I did not chime in for International Women's Day. I'm not sure if I will set the cat amongst the pigeons here. We've had many debate in my household. So we have I have a son and a daughter and a husband, so 2 and 2, and we were having a chat about International Women's Day. And I'd love to hear if you, or if it was only me, if you received an unexpected amount of emails from companies you may never have or don't frequently hear from on International Women's Day, parading their women heroes out in an email. And to me, it's fantastic that there are women and we know this, in all organisations, not only supporting but leading companies as well. But to me, why can't they just send those emails on a regular basis? That there are, we have some great women inside whatever company it might be, let's talk about these women all the time. To me, I think a lot of companies, I don't know, it's such a hard space to navigate because sometimes we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. But I am very, very fortunate with Inside Women's Fitness Adventures that have some amazing women, Trish, Jane, Kate, and Laline, that work with us here at Women's Fitness Adventures, but also all of our members who are amazing women that we shout out to all of the time. It's not just an international Women's Day thing. And Alethea agrees, marketing overkill. Thank you for that. So one of the things that we've got coming up this week in Women's Fitness Adventures, all inclusive for our members, and if you're not a member, then you can book in, but it's actually more economical if you join as a member because the masterclasses are part of membership, is about being fit for hiking. Sandy says she has a lovely surprise at work on International Women's Day. We all got lovely flowers. I reckon you should get flowers every month, Sandy. And Ellen says, totally agree. We should be celebrating amazing women every day. Yeah, absolutely. I think we should be celebrating amazing people every day. There are just amazing people everywhere, regardless of gender. There are just amazing people out there, and they need to be celebrated. So I'm all for, sharing member stories where you will all let me do that, hint, hint, but also for sharing, the stars of every company, regardless of who they are, male or female. Alison recently returned from our North Island adventure. It was lovely. Such a wonderful adventure, Ali. And Alethea says, Sandy, that you should get more money instead of flowers. So there you go. And Jen agrees with me. Let's just celebrate amazing people. Yeah. Anyway, we're on the track. So this week in our masterclass on hiking fitness. So for members, it's on Wednesday night, and non-members, you can jump onto our website and book in. It's all about hiking fitness and what it means to be hiking fit. And if you received our newsletter, there's a link if you want to ask any questions or share your comments, or what frustrates you the most about hiking fitness that I can incorporate into Wednesday's session. But so far I've had questions on how to hike in the humidity, and if you are here based in Queensland, I get it. You literally just sit down and sweat will pour off you. Preparing for multi-day hiking, making time for hiking or your hiking fitness as well. If anyone's got any questions, you can jot them down in here as well. But I might be able to, this might be a little bit of a love slap coming your way. If it is, then it's meant with the very best of intentions. And if you feel it's not a love slap, then, there you go. But we all need to take some, and I was very, very fortunate that all of the ladies on our New Zealand hiking adventure had put in the training, they'd done everything, and it was literally like clockwork. It's such an amazing adventure. But, our hiking fitness, and I belong to a running group, and we see this all the time that, across the running community, that when an event comes up and everybody has time to prepare and to train, is the excuses start coming out for why we may not get the time that we want. So, I've got an event myself coming up in May, a half marathon, and I'm doing the training, and that training may or may not go to plan, but in the end, it is what it is. And I could say, I don't think I'm as fit as I can be because I didn't put in the training, or I didn't have time to do the hill work, or I didn't do this, or I didn't do that. And I know I've spoken about this before. Making whatever it is you choose to be your goal, the priority, is the only way that you will get to be successful or hit your goals or whatever you want to do. So the getting fit for hiking and hiking fitness does take some self-responsibility. We can't, we can't send it out to somebody else to be responsible for whether we chose to do our training or not. We can't send it out to somebody else to give us the option to make the time for hiking. Only you can do that. So, hiking fitness is not just about, and we'll talk on this on Wednesday, in particular hiking fitness though, is not just about the cardio, and it's not just about the strength, and it's not just about the endurance. It's also about hiking fit is being able to pause in your life and understand your body and understand where your body's at and how it responds to all the different levels of things that you are asking it to do when you're stepping into upping your training or upping a goal. But it's also understanding what it's like to be hiking in humidity, and whether that feels good or not. To stop and think and not just throw your hands up and go, oh, it's the humidity. Am I hydrated enough? Have I been drinking enough water leading up to that? Have I been, and this is a big one, and I see it all the time. I know everybody likes the chews, the energy chews, but if they are our go-to source, pretty regularly on a trail, if we're munching down on, more than one or two of those packets, then we really need to start to have a look at what food we're using to fuel ourselves for our hiking, because our hiking fitness and what fuels us during the day cannot just be those chews. A good carbohydrate sustained, or mainly carbohydrate breakfast, carbohydrates don't have all that evil stuff that people think they do, will sustain us when we are doing more than 90 minutes of physical exercise at a time. So it could be that piece of toast, it could be the bowl of porridge, it could be the bircher muesli, or the poached egg, the boiled egg, whatever it might be. But if we're pulling out those chews within an hour of being on a hike, then we really need to pause and understand, where are we at with our fitness if we're needing to bring in those energy sources straight away? So these are the type of things that I'm going to bring up at our Hiking Fitness Masterclass on Wednesday. And I'm also going to be bringing up not only our hiker's mindset, which we talk about a lot, that kind of will be just very, very briefly touched on, but what we think about when we're out on the trail and the process that we go through to get ourselves in that space where we're actually hiking on the trail and being fully present on hiking on the trail. Because when we have that hand-eye foot coordination, which is so important for being fit on the trail. We're fully present for the instructions, for the peripheral vision and the other things going on around us as well, which is all about hiking fitness. And the hiking fitness is also understanding, when is our body getting fatigued? What does getting fatigued feel like? So that when we arrive at the adventure, we have all of those elements covered off in our head. We've done it all in the training, and it is what it is, but we can go into that with a level of confidence. So let me just check some comments here. Pauline says, I agree, we should be celebrating people every day. However, it's Pauline's experience that people need constant reminders and reasons to acknowledge our achievements after, or you do have a dinner at the end of each walk, and to look at how we can improve. Yep. Yeah, we do as well celebrate those achievements every day at the end of our hikes. We speak about that, our highs and our lows for the day, which is great. And we also have awards at the end of our adventures as well, celebrating everybody's achievements. But on that, I was at buying some lunch at a shop yesterday, and I wanted to set something aside and pick it up later, and because otherwise it would have had to sit in a hot car. And the girl behind the counter was amazing. And I drove away and said to my husband, that the level of service for that girl, I think she must have only been about 14, was amazing. And she didn't skip a beat. She didn't, nothing fazed her, the questions we asked her. And when I went back, I actually said to the fellow staff member, can I just give a shout out to that girl over there for her level of customer service this morning? Because too often we, in terms of celebrating people, we just accept that if we're happy with something, they know we're happy and we never say anything. It's only when we're unhappy do we say something. So those little things of, you're doing a good job, keep up the great work, well done on, the first part of that hike, whatever it might be in your world, is to let people know they're doing a good job, because I think that's really, really important. And that little bit of celebration and a little bit of self-confidence goes such a long way to creating a big circle. Alethea says, I did Pilates with a lady whose daughter was an Olympian hockey player who said carb loading and bananas before my 40-kilometre walk, and that got me through. I did not know about chews. Nurofen helped too. Yep, if 40-kilometre walk, you're going to be burning a lot of energy and you need it. And there's no, chews are there, but they're not the only answer. Ellen says, prior preparation prevents poor performance. Absolutely, all the time. And Diane saying true, which I'm assuming is agreeing. And Sandra says important to acknowledge and say thank you. Absolutely. So, there's lots and lots I could cover on Wednesday night about hiking fitness. So I do hope you join in. I do hope you fill out the questionnaire as well. One of the things I wanted to share also is the importance of, making time for you. And I think I may have spoken about this before. If you don't listen to the podcast by the Imperfects, I really encourage you to do so. Not all of them, but there are some fantastic ones on there. And one they did as a back to school special with a lady called Lael, who is a psychologist, I think, was all about resilience in kids and back to school. And I think I spoke about this last time, but there are so many great messages for us in there as people, and especially women and the role models that we've had. And, for most of us, learnt from our own mothers who really didn't give themselves a lot of time because they were always there. And we spoke about this. So once we acknowledge that who our role models are or were, or, who those significant people are in our life that we model ourselves on, is our behavior that we have based on the ideals and the learning that they had, or is it based on what we really want to do? Because if we all learn from our mothers who didn't put themselves first, then every time we put ourselves first, we have that guilt. And I know that, as teenagers and young adults, they don't put everybody else first, especially, girls. But as they grow into, young women and mothers, then they tend to slip that around the other way. So, have a think about who your role models are and where you put yourself first, last, somewhere in between, and get that nice balance. And Simone says, we have staff shout outs each week. It's such a feel good when you get one. Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think that's really, really important. So just checking in with the rest of the week, we have for those, I don't think anyone's watching tonight. Carolyn is. Yep, our Adventure Ready for Hiking course is on tonight. We are halfway through. I'll just jump into this one. Jelena says, my body needs a good breakfast. So does mine. Before any hiking, protein and carbs, something learned from training for Couch to Mountain, which absolute segue there. Putting myself first and getting to know my body better. Absolutely. We all need to listen and understand to our body more and more so every day. So Couch to Mountain applications are open for the 2023 cohort. So that was also in today's newsletter. So if you have already filled out your application, we are onto those already. Book club is tomorrow night, the Year of Yes, the final one. I have some great questions for everyone who is at book club for that. Functional fitness this Thursday is a band workout. So if you haven't got some bands, you can grab them from Kmart or Target. Of course, the online cardio boost tomorrow. The video is in the email for members of the moves that are on that as well. And Wednesday night is our masterclass. But we've got a couple of adventures. Our Croatia adventure has unfortunately had a cancellation. So if you can make it to Croatia for May, love it when people are spontaneous, then there is a spot. So please let us know. We'll be closing that off this week. Our New Zealand Coast Bush and Canyons, which we did last October, is on again in October, and there's a couple of spots left for that. And of course, if you want to come with me in September, we are trekking the Pyrenees, the French and Spanish Pyrenees. It's a 7-day hike with a couple of days on either side, ending in a spa hotel. Nothing technical about the hike. There's nothing scary about the hike. There are, it is ascents and descents every day, but there's no rock scrambling or rock climbing or anything like that. It is a trail. We have an English-speaking, alpine hiking guide with us, and we stay in refuges overnight. So it promises to be an amazing adventure as well. So lots there. It's all in the newsletter if you happen to have watched it today or read it today. And if you aren't a member, then you can jump onto our website and join our membership as well. So we've got lots coming up too. The Member Connect. If you enjoyed, as members, our online Christmas party, then you will love Member Connect. It's the same sort of thing on the 29th of March. We just had to change the date. So just jump in and register for that. And I look forward to sharing that evening with you as well. So that's it from me for tonight. I'll be back next Monday night. I hope to see some of you at our masterclass. But of course, if you've got questions about hiking fitness or anything like that, then love my haircut. No, I haven't had a change of haircut, Rod. I've just washed it and dried it. Took a little bit of time. Priority, right? But thank you for noticing. I really appreciate, and I should have just said thank you very much. So thanks, guys, and I look forward to catching up with you next time. See you then. Bye.